Hello guys and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be training the Nano 3 BLE Sense board for speech recognition. I'll be using a very small examples of the word red, yellow, and blue. So whenever I say the word red, blue, or yellow, my board is going to recognize it. I'll be connecting some actuators. I'll be using the red LED, blue LED, and yellow LED. So whenever I say the word red, the red LED will come up. Whenever I say the word blue, the blue LED will come up. And whenever I say the word yellow, the yellow LED will come up. I'll be training the model on Edge Impulse and then deploying it to the Nano 3 BLE Sense board. So let's get started.
For us to be able to connect our board to Edge Impulse, there are two other setups that we need to do. I know we have been doing a lot of setups from the beginning of this series. I think this should be the last part of the setup that we need to do. So we need to grab two different softwares. We need to grab the Edge Impulse command line interface and also the Arduino command line interface. So the first thing I will download is the Edge Impulse CLI. So you can just come to Google and search for Edge Impulse CLI. You necessarily shouldn't have the full website. I'll just click on this. So here I have the Edge Impulse CLI installed. That was what I searched for. And you can see we have the first link that talks about Edge Impulse documentation and installation of the CLI. So make sure you're in the right website. If you look at the top here, I have Edge Impulse CLI and I have the installation guide. So whether you are on Windows, you are on Ubuntu or Raspberry Pi OS, you can follow any of this guide here. Since I'm on Windows, the first thing I want to do is to create an Edge Impulse account, which I've done that from the beginning of this tutorial. And then I have to download and install Python 3 on my computer. So to do that, just click on the link, and it's very simple for you to download Python 3. Just come to the Python website, click on downloads, and then you see download Python. So once you click on this, you'll be able to install Python. So one thing I want to also point out is this. I have one downloaded already. So I also like to point out this while you are downloading. Let me quickly go to the site. So let me walk you through the installation from beginning pattern. Oh, I've downloaded it. So I just want to point out that if you are doing this, make sure you click Python should be added to your path. So it will be easy for your installation to locate Python. Make sure Python is added to your path. So that's the first thing you want to do. So second, we have to install Node.js version 2.20 and above. So again, I'm going to click on this, and it's also straightforward also to download Node.js. Just come to the Node.js website and click on download Node.js LTS. That's a long time version. Once you click on this, just run the installation and you'll be good to go. So one thing I want to also point out is that while you are downloading, make sure that when you are at this point, there will be a prompt like this. Make sure you are selecting automatically install necessary tools. Make sure this is checked so that you won't have problem with your Edge Impulse installation later on. Make sure this is checked, and with that you'll be good to go. So by the time you are done, you should have Chocolatey install and every other thing that you need to do that you need will have been installed. So once that is done, we need to open up command prompt. You need to open up command prompt, and then this is the last part of the installation. Just copy this and so once you right click on your command prompt, you're able to paste this and run it. So once you run this and it's done installing, you should have something of this nature. You should have everything installed. So once you have this message, everything has been installed and then you are good to go. So that's the first part of the thing that I want to do. I want to install the Edge Impulse command line interface. So once we're done with that, the next thing we have to do is to install the Arduino CLI. And this is also straightforward also. You can just search Arduino CLI installation. Arduino CLI install. So it's on a github.io website. So this is the page. Just click here, and then you have the installation here. Again, if you have Mac or Linux, you can use any of this command. So because I'm on Windows, there are two ways we can basically do this on Windows. If you have Git installed on your computer, you most likely have Git Bash. If you have Git Bash, just open up Git Bash. That's if you have Git Bash installed. You also go through the second way that you don't need to have Bash installed. So if you have Git Bash installed, just grab this script and then run it in your Git Bash. So once you run this here, paste it, and then you run this, and then you'll be good to go. And if you have Git Bash installed, or you don't want to go through the way of command, you can simply download pre-built libraries. So there are some pre-built libraries here. You can either grab the exe version, any of these will work, but let me to give you a simple straightforward command, you can just use Windows MSI. Just download. If you're on a 64-bit computer, just download this, and if you're on a 32-bit computer, you can just download this. So once you install the Arduino CLI, you should have something like this from in your path. If you come to local disk and program files, you should have the Arduino CLI installed there. So you can choose to add this to paths, or you can just use to run CLI from this path. If you want to add this to path, it's very simple. Just search for, or let's just do this. I think it's better for us to do it. Just search for environmental variables. So environmental variables. Again, click on environmental variables down here. So what we need to do is to add this to path. So I'll just come to user variables for users. This particular part that says user variables for user. You also have one that says system variables here. But what I'll be dealing with is user variables for users. So you just click on this part and edit. So if you click on part and edit, you have all these scripts that are already here. So what you need to do is to add a new one. So click on new and then browse. So now we search for where the Arduino CLI is installed. This PC, local disk, program files, and click on the folder that you have the CLI installed, and then click OK. So now we have our Arduino CLI already added to our part. So now OK, again OK, and OK. So with that, we are done adding Arduino CLI to our part. So these are the two most important things that you need to do for you to set up your board so that it can connect to Edge Impulse. So now we are going to be grabbing the firmware that we need to install on our board so that it can connect to Edge Impulse. The Nano 3 BLE Sense board does not come with the right firmware that can allow us to send data from the board to Edge Impulse. So therefore, what we need to do now is to update the firmware on the board so that you're able to communicate with Edge Impulse. I'm going to paste the link in the description below. Just go to your browser and then paste this link. So from here, we are going to be able to download the firmware. So once you have here, it's a zip file, so you can download the zip file. So I've downloaded mine already. I've just opened it up. Now I have this zip file that I downloaded here, which is simply named Edge Impulse. I do not have the 3 BLE Sense. So once you extract this, let me just do that. So I'll extract this to my download folder and then I'll open it up. So now, this is the right time for you to plug in your board to your device. So you have to plug in your 3 BLE Sense board to your computer. So let me open up my camera feed. So I have my 3 BLE Sense here, and I'll plug it straight into my computer. You can't see that. So I'm simply plugging this in here. So as you can see, I've already plugged my board to my computer. So make sure your board is plugged before you can do this. So once your board is plugged, I'm assuming you are on Windows. You have been following Windows instructions, so you are on Windows computer. Just click on Flash Windows. Just double click on this to open up the script, and then you see the flashing will start. So it says it has already found my Arduino board at COM6. So it says press any key to continue. I just press any key. So once you press any key, just come back to your board and click and press the reset button just once. Just press it once. So once it makes that sound, you are sure that your firmware has been successfully flashed on your Arduino 3 BLE Sense board. So now let's go back to Edge Impulse platform and let's create our project and set up everything before we come back and connect our board to Edge Impulse. So let's search for Edge Impulse. So just go to edgeimpulse.com, and here you can, I'm sure you've already created an account from the first step. So I'll click on login, and here I have my dashboard in. So in this tutorial, we are creating a speech recognition project. So what I'll just do is to create a new project and give my project a name. I'll just call it speech recognition. Speech underscore recognition. Yeah, I think I get the spelling right. Yeah, so just leave everything as default, speech recognition, and click on create new project. So now we have our speech recognition project that has been created. If you scroll to all this, we've already explained this right from the first part of the tutorial. Let me just do a quick recap again. So if you click on devices, you have all your devices that have been connected. You see, for now, I have no devices connected yet. I've not connected my device to Edge Impulse. So I have Impulse Design. We look at how to work with all of this in this tutorial. EON tuner, we have restraint model, we have live classification, we have model testing, versioning, and we have deployment. We have deployment. Oh, we have deployment over here. So before we can access any of this, we need to connect our device to Edge Impulse, and then from there we start working. So to do that, make sure your board is still connected. If you look at my camera view there, I have my board still connected. So what I need to do now is to come to my command prompt. Just open up CMD and type Edge Impulse daemon. Impulse. The spelling is not correct. What am I typing? Oh, so it's all to Edge Impulse. Sorry, they're supposed to be, yeah, Edge Impulse daemon. So once this opens, now you have to know your Edge Impulse username and password. So you have to pass in those two parameters here. So I'll just put in my username, which is my email address. Again, I have to pass in my password. This is not going to display for security reasons, but then as you're typing it, be sure that it's already typing. So you have all this stuff saying, talking. So now, once everything is connected, you see it asks you that which projects do you want to connect this device to, and it lists all the projects that I have here. If you come back to my Edge Impulse, if I come back, go to somewhere, you see I have all these projects created. So is that asking me that same question, at which project do I want to connect to? So you can just use your arrow key to just know I'm connecting to speech recognition. So just click, bring your arrow to this point, and then click on enter. It says, what do you want to, which name do you want to give this device? I'll just call it, what can I call it? I don't know. It's very difficult sometimes giving names to things. I'll just call it device one. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound good. I'll call it device one. So it tells me that device one is now connected to speech recognition, and then I can go to Edge Impulse to start my training. So what I'll now do now, I'll go back to my project, which is speech recognition, and if I click on devices now, I have that device one has been connected. So I give the name device one to my now the 3 BLE Sense. It shows this green button. We have to make sure that it shows this green button here. It's not a button. Make sure it shows this green dot here. So to show that it has been connected and it's online. Now, you should know that you shouldn't close your command prompt. So don't close it. Once you close the command prompt, it's going to disconnect. So don't close this. Leave it open. And then you can see there I have some sensors on board that is showing me here. I have built-in microphone, I have accelerometer. Not everything is displayed, but if I zoom out my browser, you see everything is now displayed. Interaction, color, and the likes. So let me just bring this back up so that you can still see it. So it shows me the ID of the device and also the type, which is Arduino Nano 33 BLE. So now we've successfully connected our Nano 33 BLE Sense to Edge Impulse. So the next thing for us to do is to do our training. So now to train our model, we need to acquire some data. So click on data acquisition. And if you are here, there are two ways you can basically add data to Edge Impulse. You can either take data directly from the board or you import pre-existing data. You see, we have data explorer, we have data sources, we have CSV wizard. You can navigate through all this and see how they can be used. You can also add data from external source, as I mentioned. You can just click here and then add external data source. But what you want to do in this case is to now, before I mention that, there are two things that are very important here, but then I won't be going over them in this tutorial, maybe in some other tutorials. So here we can see we can connect a development board and then we can also connect using web USB. This is a new feature that was added to Edge Impulse and it's very okay. Maybe in next tutorial I'll talk about it better. So we want to collect data from our device one, which is what is currently connected. Now let me just give us the task I want to do in this tutorial. We're going to train a model to be able to recognize the keyword red, green, and blue. Red, no, let's not use green. So because we are trying to deploy this later. So let's say red, yellow, and blue. Yes, red, yellow, and blue. Red, yellow, and blue. So we're going to train our model based on these three keywords. We're going to take 50 samples of the word red, 50 samples of the word yellow, 50 samples of the word blue. And then we're going to also take 50 samples of silence without saying anything so that our model will be able to differentiate between speech and silence. So I'm going to start with red. I think red looks, and then I will select my length. This is actually the amount of time I want to sample my data for. I'm just going to take this for 2.5 seconds. I'll just put 2500. It's in milliseconds. And then I want to use the beauty microphone that's on the board. And then the frequency is 16 hertz. So let me bring up my camera field. You can see this. No. So this is my camera field. And also we have to make sure that this is where the microphone is located on the board. So whenever you are doing the talking, it has to be close to your mouth so that it will sample it very well. You know, it's a microcontroller, not a complex microphone. So I'll just click on start. I would like to show this. I'll click on start sampling. It says waiting to start. Red. Let's wait, it's going to read. So I said red. If you scroll down, this is my word, my speech. So I can do a quick playback. Yeah, and I'm sure you heard that. So let me play it again. So that is red. So I've just paused this video now and try to take 15 samples of red, 50 samples of green, 50 samples of red, 50 samples of yellow, 50 samples of blue, and also 50 samples of silence using the same principle. So just hang on and I will get back to you soon. So after collecting all my data, I have a total number of 120 data sets. Instead of collecting 50-50, I'm now collecting 30 for each. So 30 for blue, 30 for red, 30 for yellow, and 30 for noise without saying anything. And you can see I have my test split. Everything they are splitted equally. Red, yellow, blue, noise, and red. So after that, what you need to do is to create an impulse. So now you have to click on create impulse, and now everything this is what you're going to have here. So you have to add a processing block and a learning block. So if you add the processing block, what you should add is, because we're working with audio, so we're going to add audio processing block, and then say we're going to add a learning block of classification. You can still learn more about all these. No, now we are not going to change any of the parameters, so just leave everything as it is. After that, you just click on save. So now we have a pop-up here that says that our impulse has been successfully saved. So after that, we click on this MFCC, which is our processing block. So after clicking there, we have some windows of our data. Now there's some parameters that we saw in the previous page. Here we have the window size and the window increase. So if we alter any of this, we're going to have the effect here under the MFCC. So if I play this, so it shows me how the window were structured. This is for noise. If I select, let me just go down and select red. So you see how the window for red is structured. So sometimes this is not what we want, but in this case, I'm not alter any of this parameter. You can easily change it and drag it to hear the particular part. When I just put it back in the initial point, and then we come down and click on save parameters. So after clicking that, we just have the next page, and here we click on generate features. Feel free to play with any of these values to see how they affect your model, and then you can learn more and get a better and well optimized model. Generating features might take time, sometimes depending on how large the data set is. In this case, we don't have much of data set, so this should not take much time. So with that, we have all our feature generated. You can see how our features have been separated here. You can choose to scroll around and see the performance. So with that, we are done generating our feature. So next thing is to train our model. Once that is done, you can click on classifier that we have here, and then just leave everything default as it is, and then I can click on start training. So and now the model is done. As you can see, we have job completed. So with that, we are done training our model. So now we are ready for deployment. There are some parameters that Edge Impulse gives to us, like the accuracy, the loss, the conversion matrix, and likes. You can check more on this and also see how you can play with the values and see how they affect your model. So to deploy your model, you simply come to deployment over here. And now we are going to select Arduino library since we are deploying to an Arduino board. There are a lot of other options and other things that we can deploy to. But in this case, we want to deploy to an Arduino. So click on Arduino library and we scroll all the way down and click on build. So once this is done building, it will give us a zip file that we can download and add to our Arduino IDE as a library. So now that that is done, it presents to me options to download. So let me just go to my documents and let me save this in Arduino. Yeah. Okay, let me just save it here. Save. So once that is done, I'll just open up my Arduino IDE. In this case, I'll be using my offline IDE. In last tutorial, we saw how we need to do what we need to do to set up our Arduino IDE in the offline fashion. So I'll be using the offline fashion to deploy my model. So again, now you can feel free to disconnect your board from Edge Impulse. I'll just close this and close this. So now this Arduino IDE is being opened up. Now before you continue, you have to skip fashion. Make sure of some view things. Now you have to make sure that you have the Arduino Embed OS Nano board installed. We did this in the last tutorial. Just click on install for you to be able to run the code on your Nano 33 BLE Sense. So what I need to do is to come to tools, sketch, and then I click on include library and said add.zip library. So I'll navigate to where I saved my Edge Impulse inference. So inside Arduino and this, I'll click this open. So I'll just wait for the library to be installed. It's currently is processing speech recognition Arduino.zip. While that is ongoing, let me quickly change my board to Nano 33 BLE Sense. Click here. Yeah. So it says successfully installed the library. So to use the library, I simply come to File and open Examples. Then I'll scroll down to Example from Custom Libraries. This, and I have Nano 33 BLE Sense. Now, which is this? So you have to select this microphone continuous. So you have different options here. What you need to select is microphone continuous. After compiling and uploading, just open up your serial monitor and then you have this. Let me expand this. Yeah. So now as you can see, I'm not seeing anything. You have that the noise has larger percentage. If I'm silent, the noise has larger percentage. 99, as you can see. So let me start saying, just check the percentage. Let me start saying some few things that I train my model with. Red, 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 yellow, 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 blue, 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 blue. So as you can see, the percentage for the word that I said we increase, one of you are saying that word, and then the other one is going to reduce. So that's basically how our model works. We can see that the model is working perfectly. So the last thing I will do is that so that we can better visualize this, I'll just attach some. Maybe I'll just use there's an onboard red, green, and blue LED on the 93 BLE Sense. So at the command of red, yellow, and blue, these LEDs will come up. So now I've made some modifications to the code. If you scroll up here, let me reduce this. So at the very top, I've added my three LEDs, red LED, blue LED, and yellow LED for pin 2, pin 3, and pin 4. And inside my setup, I've defined the pin mode for the three LEDs. So to effect the change, I need to scroll down inside my loop function, and just below the function that runs the classifier, I've inserted this block of code. So I check if classifier, if result.classification, so 0 stand for the first value, 1 is the noise, so I'm not using 1, so I'm using 2 for red, and yellow is 3. So after uploading this, let me bring up my camera field so that you can see the effect. So I'm using 3 LEDs, yellow, blue, and red. So now let's do some tests. Blue, 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 red, 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 blue, blue. So that's how it seems you can do for yellow also, and then it's going to respond. So that's basically how it works. That's basically how the tiny machine learning on the Arduino Nano 3 BLE Sense works. So you can choose to modify this and make it serve your own purpose. For example, you want to turn or you want to control a bigger actuator using your voice, or you want to do some big work, or you want to control some maybe alternating current, you can just input to relay. You can just use relay to make this work better with alternating current. So you have opportunity of playing around with this and seeing how this works. Don't forget, you have to start from creating an account on ngPulse, building your model, deploying your model, and then editing the code so that it can suit your purpose. So thanks so much everyone, and that will be all for this tutorial. If you find this tutorial useful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe. Also share this tutorial with anybody that you know that will like it. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.